Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. Everybody, welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. That is right. And at Fancy Alarm and all your favorite social media platforms as well, including X. We gonna give it to you. Well, welcome this Monday night. Very exciting things going on here tonight. We have a lot that we need to talk about. Like this. Guillotine League, halfway full. What? That's right. 2 weeks from now, we will be drafting live on this show on the Better Sports Network. The Guillotine League. It'll be on Sleeper app, so get your Sleeper app. The way it works is this. We need 18 teams. We're almost about halfway full. We're going to draft live on the show. After week one, the team with the lowest amount of points, they go. All their players that they drafted, put back into the free agency pool, $1,000 fab for everyone else to pick up. Whoever's remaining at the end of week 17 will be the champion and proud owner of a new $100 bill. It's all for charity for the Alzheimer's Foundation. So please, click the link, get in. Join the league on Sleeper. Let me know. DM me at Edward Raus on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Tell me you want in, and I will get you in before it's too late. Also, even more spectacular news. Jeez, we're just full of it here. Next week, the 1 year anniversary. That's right, 1 year on the Better Sports Network. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a boatload of guests. Yet you've heard over the last year on the show, they are going to come on, and I'm going to have them roast me. Yep. Straight up. Give it to me. Talk crap on my Chargers. I know Heavy T wants to go first. By the way, shout out, as always, to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Tonight, me and him are going to go fisticuffs later as we give our top 10 rankings for fantasy football. We're here. Week 1 of the preseason. We're here. Oh, yeah. And Heavy T has to review 80 for Brady, which we'll also be doing on the 1 year anniversary show next week as well. So it's going to be splendid, if you will. But tonight, let's talk about tonight. Monday Night Rants, the Better Sports Network. We have a lot to talk about. Breaking news all over the afternoon in the NFL. First came Zeke. That's right. Ezekiel Elliott finally signs, which I thought was kind of a no-brainer. I did a story on it on the Better Sports Network YouTube. You can check it out. I'll just tell you exactly what I said here, because that's what I'm going to do. It's simple. Don't freak out if you're a Ramondre Stevenson fantasy roster. Just don't. If you drafted him already, don't be like, oh no, what do I do now? He'll be fine. I guarantee you at Fantasy Receipts, he will get the same workload that he would have gotten if Zeke did not sign to the Patriots. So, there's that. You don't believe me? Have you seen the Patriots running back room? Ty Montgomery. Aaron Rodgers made him a thing in Green Bay. He was a receiver turned running back. He was a thing for like half a year. No. Pierre Strong Jr. Like JJ. No, stop. They have one of the worst running back rooms after Ramondre Stevenson. That's why everyone's so high on him. Zeke is there for one reason and one reason only. To back up Ramondre Stevenson. And take carries away from those other guys. It's a good signing. It's going to be great. He's going to take away goal line carry. He's not going to take away goal. Stop it. Ramondre Stevenson is going to get the same exact workload. Just those other guys you've never heard about that don't care about, they're not. That's all it is. That simple. I love it. And for the price, the running back price, don't mind it. I say, move on. Go for it, then conquer. You have bigger issues than your running backs at quarterback. More on that later. What did Josh say here? To help the backfield, to show he's a team player. Well, I think he kind of showed he was a team player last year for the Cowboys, kind of taking a step back and letting Tony Pollard kind of take a little bit more control over the backfield too. So I see that, but I think it's the best spot for him because he's going to get the most playing time as a backup because their running back room is so terrible. Because there's a lot of three-headed monsters out there, two-headed, three-headed monsters. The Patriots are one of the only teams left with really only one true running back on the roster. That's it. And there you go. And then 10 minutes after that, not even 10 minutes, Dalvin Cook says, hold my beer. And he said, I'm going to sign with the New York Jets. That's right. Dalvin Cook is signing the New York Jets. Also, by the way, both one-year deals. Both one-year deals. The running back market, I know. See, it is what it is. It is what it is. Remember, centers in the 80s used to get paid pennies. It is what it is. Jets. Now, Dalvin Cook. Breece Hall, I get it. I would be worried a little bit if I'm Breece Hall owners, but you should have been already. Right? We know what we're getting with Ramondre Stevenson. We don't know what we're getting with Breece Hall. He's coming back from a major injury. They're probably going to ease him in a few weeks, so Dalvin Cook could be valuable then. They still have Michael Carter. They really like Zonovan Knight at the end of last year. He's now worthless. But also, Dalvin Cook has a really big history of injuries. Like, death, taxes, and Dalvin Cook's going to miss a couple of games this year. So, there's that. And even with that, I'm still not sold on this Jets team. More on the rankings and stuff later. But no, come on. No. Dalvin Cook just went. I think the Dolphins saw something in A-Chain in week 1 of the preseason. They offered Dalvin Cook money because that's where he should have gone. And they said, you know what? Maybe we don't need him. So Dalvin Cook went back and said, hey, Jets, I was here a little while ago. What do you think? Let's get the AFC North band back together again, huh? So it is what it is. If I'm a Dalvin Cook dynasty owner, should have probably traded him before he signed, because not a good spot for him, production-wise. And even after this year, going into next year, he has to sign a new contract and do the same thing. It's just not pretty in the Dalvin Cook era of his career. So I like the Zeke to Patriots better because he's going to have more opportunity as a backup. Then I like the Dalvin Cook to the Jets because once Breece Hall comes back full, I think Dalvin Cook's kind of, and also his own injury history, So as a whole, I like the Zeke signing better. And they got Zeke at half the price of Dalvin Cook that the Jets paid for 1 year. So win-win. Winner, chicken dinner today to the Patriots for filling a hole at a lower price. So I think between the two free agency signings today, the Patriots, they won. There you go. All right, a full season, and I mean a full season of NFL is like 2 weeks away. It is insane. 3 weeks away. And I am excited. And some things we used to do here on the show that we will bring back for this season is Case of the Mondays is one, obviously. Every Monday we talk about who had the worst day on Sunday, and they have the Case of the Mondays. It's fun. That's coming back because it's football season. Boom! But Why I'm more excited for the full season of football coming up? Let me tell you. Because Rival Fantasy just released NFL Bingo. And you could do bingo cards right now for the NFL, not even week 1. This week for preseason, which I've already been having fun with it. I'm like, okay, who's the backups? There's already some rookie receivers I like this week. You know, A.T. Perry for the Saints. Isaiah Likely you can get in there for the Ravens. There's a lot you can do to get players that you know are going to be out on the field that could probably hit these props and get you. And by the way, preseason bingo, fantasy bingo is a way for you for $1 a card to get in and try it out. $1. $1. Make you holler. That's it. So NFL is out. Their challenges for NFL are out. You could try those with preseason as well. Rival Fantasy. That's joinrival.com/alarm. And literally up to $200 deposit match back. And your first game free. So you can even try it for free. Try bingo for free on preseason. See how much you like it. I know you will because I love it. And by the way, last Monday, Corey Seager, double. I hit. That's right. I got the Forest Square, hit 10% of the pool, and I was a happy man. Gotta love bingo. Joinrival.com/alarm. Get on the NFL action because we're going to be doing it every Monday night. That's how the cookie crumbles. As Wade Tavares just said, what's going on, Wade? What is going on, Ranters? That's okay. He's just mocking me, but I love it. That's how we do it. But speaking of week 1 in the preseason, we got to move along because there's a lot to do tonight. I'm going to give you some winners and losers from what I saw over the weekend from the first week of the preseason. And the first winner I'm going to give you, the first winner is one I do not want to give you, and I hate it, and they need to stop. You watch the show, you know ad nauseum, I constantly talked about my 2 sleeper quarterbacks, Jordan Love and Kenny Pickett. And what did they do? They went up and gave us all triple doubles. They need to stop because I'm drafting them late in all my redraft leagues. That's my either one is my QB1. I'm getting my receivers, my running backs, my tight ends golden, and I'm picking up one of these guys because they're going to have really good fantasy years. I believe in Jordan Love. I believe in Kenny Pickett. Jordan Love threw a bullet to Dobbs. Kenny Pickett fighting his receivers. They're all talented. Throw it. Someone's got to catch it. They're all good. So hopefully they have a bad game and the draft stock and ADP won't rise so much for me as I go into my drafts these next few weeks. But I love Kenny Pickett as a sleeper. I love Jordan Love. Nobody is talking about Jordan Love, and he could easily, with his running game too, give you backside enough fantasy points in one quarterback redraft leagues to win you a championship. Put down your board at fantasy receipts. Boom. That's some Jalen Reed too. So there were winners. The Saints, big winners against the Chiefs yesterday. A.T. Perry, rookie wide receiver, looking really, really good. The whole first offense with Kamara, well, he's going to miss a couple games, but look good. Carr looked good. Michael Thomas catching balls. Their rookies their offense could be explosive. And Derek Carr has a chip on his shoulder. And a lot of really talented players around him on that offense. I know everybody has talented players on the Raiders, but he doesn't have McDaniels anymore. I kind of like what I saw. I know it's preseason. I liked what I saw out of the Saints. I'm not going to lie. And then Winston, A.T. Perry, even the backups. Now, there was the thing with Miller, the rookie running back, minor knee sprain injury, but that doesn't really get Jamal Williams. Fine. Loved what the Saints did for sure. Another winner that I really, really liked was Justin Fields and the Bears. The Bears offense. Another sleeper. Khalil Herbert. Dang it. Told you guys. Khalil Herbert looked good. Catching the ball out of the backfield. Roschon Johnson? Khalil Herbert's number 1. He's going to be good. His ADP is way too low. This kid's going to go higher now. Thank you, preseason. And Fields. He wasn't throwing the ball over the top long. He was making plays that he needed to and putting his talented receivers and talented players around him in good spots to score. DJ Moore worked out. If they continue to do that and create plays for... He doesn't always have to throw the ball 40 yards downfield. Not with DJ Moore. He can break tackles, make things happen in the open field. This offense could look completely different, I feel, this year and surprise a lot of people. I was a little bullish, but kind of saying, nah, I could see him. If he has any ounce, 1 ounce of better accuracy throwing the ball, Bears could surprise some people. I believe it. Rookie wide receiver, speaking of A.T. Perry for the Saints, we saw, Jordan Addison make a great catch. Tank Dell have a great game. The rookie wide receivers really had a good preseason week 1. Most of them. Quentin Johnson for the Chargers scored a touchdown. It was a good week to be a rookie wide receiver in the NFL. More on the quarterbacks later. Another winner, Zamir White. Touchdown, Raiders, right down the field. Which brings me to my first loser. Case of the Mondays.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a
Josh
case of the
Jacobs. They can do it without you, bro. This is just the way the market is. This is the running back market. Sit out all you want. It's not it. They don't need you. They just proved it. You're sorry. Get in there and play football. I've already been over this ad nauseum every show, but yes. Big loser is Josh Jacobs watching Zamir White and the Raiders go down the field and score a touchdown, running the ball. Zamir White, he'll play football. Another big loser of the weekend who, man, they all
sounds like somebody's got
bad.
a case of the Mondays.
Every first round rookie quarterback. Bryce Young. 0 points. The Panthers were the only shutout team on preseason week 1. Shut out in the preseason. By the way, that is not easy to do. That's hard to do. Not even your 4th string can score. Terrence Marshall hurt himself at practice today for the Panthers. Thielen's in his 30s. Miles Sanders, I think I have, Heavy T, I think I have a new favorite to be worst record in the NFL. Panthers. I just don't see success. And they're in a terrible division with the other team I think could be the worst team in the NFL, the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers actually have offensive talent. Besides their quarterback. You put Bryce Young on the Buccaneers, boom, I was kidding. But man, I'm telling you, they looked absolutely, and I mean, bad. I know it's the Jets, but the Jets have one of the best defense. Still, it's preseason. They just don't have the best defense in the 3rd and 4th quarters. The preseason game. Come on. No. So, Panthers, big losers. And my last big loser, before I go into the rant lines, is the 49ers. And not just the 49ers. In particularly, Jake Moody and Trey Lance. Both of them.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
I told you so! I told you! Trey Lance is not good at football! I know it, but he threw a touchdown pass. Yeah, he threw an interception that was bobbled, and his tight end happened to catch it after it was bobbled twice. That was a terrible throw that should have been intercepted. Made for a great replay. He's not good. He's just not. He's not a good NFL player. Purdy is going to be the quarterback there? Still question marks. And you draft a kicker in the 3rd round of the NFL draft, and he misses both his kicks. I know, but one of them was 57 years. The other one's from 40-something. He should have made it. At least 1 for 2. You missed both. Robbie Gold is pissed right now. Probably more mad than me. You don't... 49ers have to be... I know the Panthers didn't score any points, but the 49ers have to be feeling the worst. Absolute worst after this weekend. Also, Will Levis did not look good. Willis outdid him. Anthony Richardson did not look good. CJ Stroud, Overall, though, the biggest case of the Mondays had to be the 49ers. That was not good. They got outplayed by Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders. Pick him up, by the way, for when it's inevitable that Jimmy G gets hurt. He could be the starter the second half of the year. Aiden O'Connell looking pretty good there for the Raiders. All right, it's time for the rant lines. I don't expect to get so mad about the 49ers. Yeah. You don't draft a kicker in the 3rd round. This is 2 field. Nope. This ruined me today. Blindside was a lie. That's right. Everything you knew about that wonderful movie with America's Mom, Sandra Bullock. Well, turns out it all BS, y'all. That's right. Michael Orr came out today and said the family lied about adopting him. He was never really adopted. They just used it all as a money grab from the movie. Now, Heavy T says she'll never look, or he'll never look at Sandra Bullock again, but I don't know. Did she know at the time? I don't know. You can't blame Sandra Bullock for that. She's trying to get her own money doing what she does, acting, which is apparently also what the family tried to do for Michael Orr. Just ruins my childhood. And the poor guy is sitting here in an article talking about how it kind of ruined his name, and he hates it. He literally says, I hate that movie. Because everyone, that's the Blindside guy. When realistically, this family got rich off of him. He had a pretty good start to his career, kind of flamed out. Everyone compared him as a bust because he wasn't as good as the Blindside movie. That's literally what he says. That's pretty sad. The whole thing is just sad. I don't know what to think anymore. First, birds aren't real. And then this. What next, Heavy T? What is going to happen next in the world? The Blindside did not exist. I'm never going to watch that movie again. I mean, to be honest, I've only seen it once and I got it. But hey, boycotting Blindside now. Big ass family. Come on now. I hate it. This is fun. I should make Heavy T rewatch the Blindside and review it now. All right. That's one of the movie reviews on the show. That'll be a lot of fun. This is fun today, too. Peyton Manning, by the way, is now a professor. That's right. He is going to teach a class at his Ultimate. I feel blindsided. That is fantastic. Yes. Peyton Manning is going to teach a class at his University of Tennessee alma mater. You'll never guess what class he's teaching. He is going to be I can't even say this without laughing. I'm going to do my best. Peyton Manning will be professor of, and this sounds like some Harry Potter stuff, professor of practice. That's real. Peyton Manning is going to be the professor of practice at Tennessee. You know one person who will fail out of that class? This guy.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice, man.
But you know what I'm saying? Professor of practice. What is it's just dumb. Like it's not a real thing. Professor of practice. And then this little fun joke. Unfortunately, Manning has no playing eligibility remaining at the University of Tennessee. I hope they felt really good writing that. Come on now. All right. What should we do first here, Heavy T? You want to do, let's say the AP. Let's go straight into the Harden thing here. We're going to run a little late on rant lines. It's fine. So James Harden, the saga, I thought he wanted to stay in Philly. I thought he loved Philly. I know he loves Embiid. They're like BFFs. They're like joined at the hip. And then there was this whole thing where he's not taking his option. He wants to be traded, looking for trades. Then the Clippers were involved. It's been a mess. Well, it's even more of a mess now after he said this about his GM today.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
In case you missed it the first time, I will say it again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I'll never be a part of this organization again. What? I was just going to say, Heavy T said, he did this at a basketball camp for kids? Yes! Like, what is he doing? First of all, wow. And this is where the NBA gets weird because literally these players can choose and go wherever they want. We've seen it with Kevin Durant. How many times? LeBron James. Like, stars get to go wherever they really want. And you look at the path of James Harden and you go, man. Right? He was a sixth man in Oklahoma City. Houston was a mess. Brooklyn was a mess. He finally had something going in Philly. Finally had a way to get to the finals, to win the finals with an MVP in Embiid. And then he goes and burns it all down. I don't think the problem is Daryl Morey. I look back at the history of James Harden. And as much as I've stuck up for him over the year and the years, I'm finally at a realization, maybe he's the problem. So I wish him the best of luck on wherever he goes next. Don't come to my Clippers. But it's selfish, bro. Come on. All right, let's the Wander Franco thing is something all on its own. But let's go to college football AP. All right, the college football AP. You know, I love my college football here on Monday Night Rants. I'm a big into sports betting on college football. I love it. I love it more than anything. I like betting on college football more than the NFL because I think it's a little bit more predictable to me than the NFL is. It's easier for me to win. But the new AP poll came out today, and here is the top 25, and it shows how many people have moved up and down. Plus, you get some awesome ads from UFC and stuff, which we'll be talking about later in my UFC 292 preview. But Georgia number 1, no brainer. Michigan over Ohio State is intriguing. They do have a great running back tandem there at Michigan. I think they're going to be up there no matter what. Ohio State just lost their quarterback. However, Ohio State has the best receiver we've ever seen since Calvin Johnson. Marvin Harrison Jr., sorry. So I'm okay with that. Alabama 4 by default, right? Alabama could lose every one of their starters, and next year, because their recruiting class, they'll be in the top 5. Okay, we get it. They lost Bryce Young. I'm not sure what to make of this Alabama team. I think they're not. It's going to be a tough year for them, I think. But you never know because it is Alabama. They're a power horse. So I'm okay with the top 4. Here's where things get weird. And I mean weird. Heavy T, can you scroll to the... There you go. LSU. Okay. LSU, okay, I see it. They got a good quarterback there, but 11 spots jump up, all from recruiting, really. They do have a good receiver. They got a good running back on that team. I could see it, but SEC with Alabama, like those teams can't all win games. But sure, okay, they won a national championship in the last few years. I'll give it to you. SC, the Caleb Williams effect right here. I don't mind 6. Jumping up 6 spots. Remember, they lost in their bowl game last year with Caleb Williams. Just say it. The last year in the Pac-12 before they bolt out with half of them to the Big Ten, they just lost, Jordan Addison. I don't know. I can see the effect, but I don't see them winning the Pac-12 this year. On the last year of the Pac-12 before it's the Mountain West 12. But I just don't see it. And number 6, I don't think they're the best team in the Pac-12 now. They do have the best player who's going to get drafted number 1 overall. I'll give you that. But I don't see it. Penn State makes sense. But number 2, which would make them number 3 in the Big Ten after Michigan and Ohio State. Okay. Really going to be a tough year for Penn State, I think. Just Clifford's gone. Defensively, everything about Penn State, I just don't like this year to be a top 10 team. I could see if they were like a 20, maybe a 17, but top 10, don't see it. As far as the Atlantic Coast, one of these two teams are the favorites to win, so might as well put them 8-9, right? Makes sense. Florida State and Clemson. I'm okay with it. I think Florida State edges out a little bit this year over Clemson. I mean, Clemson's been a little bit of decline since Lawrence. They had quarterback issues last year. Yeah. Thomas is already in the chat saying that Penn State should not be number 7. No way in hell. So let's finish out the top 10 here. This is the most controversial one for me at number 10. Washington is ranked 10 overall. I know they finished the year strong last year. I know. They beat Oregon last year. They got their quarterback returning, the transfer from Indiana, Penix. He's going to put up numbers. But that defense is going to give up numbers. They have a tough Pac-12 schedule. They're open the year against Boise State. Not an easy game. Meanwhile, USC, Oregon, they're playing like Division II schools. Like, Washington can shoot themselves in the foot real quick, and I just don't see them finishing top 10. Oregon is a better team. Oregon is a better team overall. They have a better recruiting class the last few years. They've been the best team recruiting in the West Coast over the last 3 years, and it's not even close. USC is second, and they're like ranked 10 below them. They had a better one this year. Utah, who's been pretty good, they got their quarterback coming back. By the way, there's a lot of returning quarterbacks in the Pac-12 this year. No, last year, you're going to see of all of them. With Rising for Utah, with Nix for Oregon, with Penix for Washington, Caleb Williams for USC. All these quarterbacks, they're going to the NFL. And then they'll all go to the Big Ten, and we'll see. But Utah, get this, though. The Pac-12 is disbanding pretty much after the end of the season. 5 Pac-12 teams are in the top 25 to start the season. 5. The other one will surprise you even more because they're the team still in the Pac-12. Scroll down a little bit, Heavy T, until you see it. You'll know it when you see it. Oregon State. The little brothers to Oregon. But they beat them last year, Edward. I don't care. Oregon State can't even get an offer to go play in the Big Ten or the Big 12. They should not be in the top 25. Sorry. I know I'm an Oregon fan. And by the way, Oregon 15, flip-flop them with Washington. Makes more sense. TCU, I get it. They just lost their whole team. They won't be in there when it's all said and done. Wisconsin, they love to run the football. Good for them. 19 is about right. Kansas State surprised a lot of people last year. I'm okay with it. Oregon State is a joke. Let me finish. In the top 25. Sorry, it just is. It's almost like the AP coaches, everything is trying to say, no, Pac-12, you're still good. Look at all these teams you have in here. Oregon State, oh no, they finished the year so good last year. They beat Oregon. Oregon blew that game, by the way. Oregon was up at halftime by 27 points. Let's not forget that. Oregon State came from behind to win 3 of the last four wins. To get 406 votes in the top 25 to put him in 18. It's sad. All right. And then we'll finish out the last 5. These are all like Tulane. Obviously they lost 15 because they lost their running back. They lost all their players. They're there by default as well. A&M makes sense. Ole Miss. North Carolina has one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Oklahoma, just because they're Oklahoma, we get it. Ole Miss should be a very interesting SEC team this year. I kind of like where they're going. Really good running backs. They have 2 really good running backs on the team now. Their defense should be better. They got a good young quarterback as well. And let's not forget Manning. Archie Manning for Texas. They're up a little bit higher, but we will see Peyton Manning. Man, Peyton Manning's just taking over this show. We'll see Archie Manning in a Texas uniform playing college football this year. It's going to be an exciting year. Real quick before I go to a break, before Rant on the Street. Quinn, yours. Baby, get out of here. All the drama, and I'll be quick about this. We're going to baseball real quick before we do Rant on the Street. All the drama with Wander Franco. Sat out. Google it. I'm not going to get into it. None of it's... He posted a video today saying it was not real. It's all fake. That they're people from the Dominican Republic trying to get money from him in a scheme. Now, I hope it is fake. And it seems like it is at this point. But if it is real, you want me to get into it? You want me to say what it is, Heavy T? Apparently, he's been dating a 14-year-old. Allegedly, according to people on Twitter, on X. That's why I said he posted a video and he had his Jose Siri behind him saying it's not true. He's also from the Dominican Republic. They both said it's not true. It's just a scheme for them to try to get money from him. They had to bench him. We don't know where it's going. We don't. So there's more on that. Hopefully it's all resolved by next week. We say, it wasn't real. If that is real, sucks for your people who have him in fantasy, that's for sure. But not a good look. Not a good look, Wander Franco. But I don't know. Come on. That's dating a 14-year-old for that long and getting away with it. You would think you would have been outed a while ago. You know what I mean? You know, where's Chris Hansen? Chris Hansen would have been there. You know what I mean? Just saying. All right. Jesus Christ. Every T baby do this, by the way. Send all your hate mail and everything to at Heavy T on air. Okay. That was fun. When we come back, my boy Thomas Stevens to join me for Rants on the Street. I haven't seen the questions. I have no idea. Hopefully it's NBA, football, everything and all between. I want to talk to him about Kenny Pickett's great debut in the preseason and Pickens as well. The Pickens to Pickett combo was fantastic, and I like the team. And we talked about them being underrated. Now I think they're even more underrated after seeing their first offense live over the weekend. So we'll talk to him and more after that. A complete UFC 292 breakdown and my predictions, my betting predictions for you, my fellow ranters, because it's going to be a huge card. And then after that, me and Heavy T are going like this. Fantasy football rankings, quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, and more. We'll see you after the break. Boom.
I feel like this is a quietly contentious point in Dynasty Fantasy Football, what it means to actually be rebuilding. Some people say you should never truly be rebuilding. How do you view the rebuilding versus competing dichotomy in Dynasty?
So I will be the first person to acknowledge that my preferred format of fantasy football is just redraft. The years that I have played Dynasty, it has been I've drafted a win now team because I've seen people that have just gotten into the cycle of rebuilding and thus they just don't make any progress. So if you're rebuilding for the 5th year in a row, I just, I don't know exactly how you get out of it, but yeah, it's definitely something that can happen. And a lot of people, especially when we come out of the NFL draft, everyone's just instantly shipping off, draft picks and everything. So, I mean, it's definitely something that can happen.
Joey, do you Do you feel similarly to it? Do you feel like you see people getting stuck in the rebuilding loop?
I mean, I would say people that try to rebuild in the beginning of seasons, of their fantasy seasons, I see them get stuck in that rut. I would really try to only ever rebuild if I knew I was going to miss the playoffs. Like, I'm always trying to play to win, even if it's maybe I don't know.
I think my big thing is the word rebuild is a much shorter time frame than I think most people say it should be. Like, they look at rebuild as like 3 years out competing. Rebuild, you're looking to compete next season. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing it now, you're looking to revamp, and maybe there's a one season where you ship it off, but that very next season you should be competing. If you're doing it like that, I'm cool with it, but you gotta have a plan, not just keep getting the young players, keep getting the draft picks. Otherwise, you end up like Tim. Maybe not like Tim who gets a bye, but you make the playoffs, you're in that like 4 to 6 range every year, just hovering in the middle. Nothing ever gets better, nothing ever gets worse.
I think I play like you in Dynasty, Simon. I play in 3-year windows.
100%. That's my go-to. And with the rate at which Dynasty leagues turn over, you should really only ever play in a 3-year window.
Let's get it on.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants. I try to pepper in DMX where I can, and so we can, monetization. We know. But joining me now, of course, is Thomas Stevens for Rant on the Street. What's going on, Thomas? I saw you laughing at my last rantle blog.
I was just wondering how many eggshells we were gonna walk on. I mean, with the whole Wander Franco thing. So I'm glad Heavy T got you to come clean.
I did okay, I think. I didn't go too far.
Yeah, look at that. Break all the shells.
Run through them, baby. Run through the whole egg section. You know how expensive that is? Jeez, breaking all those eggs. Okay.
14 to be exact, huh?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. You need a rim shot. Oh, jeez. By the way, gosh. Oh, God dang it. The night that he missed, I cannot make this up. It was a handout. It was a hat handout. It was Wander Franco hat handout. And this is true. You can look it up. Give it a goog. For 14 and younger only.
I didn't know that. That is just, that's hilarious.
Come on, man.
Tampa Bay, they got to get smacked on the wrist, man.
Yeah, Jesus. Anyways, yes, we're losing. We just lost all of our viewers.
Oh, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, real quick, I know you watched. We were chatting a little bit on the old text-to-message machine about Kenny Pickett to Pickens and how good that first team Steelers offense looked.
Yeah,
the other day, and I have to admit, I've been talking high on him all year. I mean, Tampa be wild. Why? Chats are hilarious.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, they look good, and I really like Pickett as a fantasy quarterback, and I'm going to pick him up as my number one in redraft because I'm not going to spend the money on Mahomes, or I'm not going to spend the money on Allen or any one of these guys. I'm going to wait, and I think Love or Pickett can, if it's a 50-point difference and I can make that up in wide receiver or running back over you, I won. So I'm not even, and you could do that easily by I'm looking at everything. Like, it's really possible
for
in our league. So I like what I saw. You had to too.
Yeah, no, 100%. I thought that the weapons just looked amazing. It looked like it was a pretty heavy drive of throwing to Deontay Johnson to get down the field.
All of them, right? And your boy Austin, you talked about him last week.
Yeah, Calvin Austin. I think he's really going to be something.
I think so too. I think you're right. Yeah,
for sure. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, they threw the touchdown to Pickens, but I believe Freiermuth touched the ball as well. Jalen Warren got an 11-yard run or rush or whatever. Najee didn't really do much, but he's out there. I don't know. Allen Robinson didn't even touch the ball. There's so many weapons.
What'd you say?
Blank didn't touch the ball. My bad. But yeah, no, they look good, man.
Sorry, folks. This is a family show, and Thomas Stevens just cussed, so I apologize for that.
My bad. My fault. But yeah, no, I was excited. I loved it. It looked good, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know why we have Mitch Trubisky on the team. I think Mason Rudolph is enough to be a quarterback number 2. He looked better than Mitch Trubisky did. Mitch is, I think it was the first drive, he throws a pick. And
You're surprised?
well, I mean, I was the biggest Mason Rudolph hater for so long, man. And you know, I'd be honest with you, I know it's against, you know, third strings, whatever it is, but
I can tell you a whole fan base of Mitch Trubisky haters.
Yeah, Chicago.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a good preseason game. I bet Steelers money line and they won and they looked good. 27-7, I believe the score.
You bet
was.
money line on a preseason game.
Dude, I'm a degenerate, man. I'm just
money line.
getting action, man.
I guess
Minus
money line's
190.
the way to go. Just whoever wins instead of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
betting
for
the
sure.
spread on a preseason game. You're
Yeah, it's
really a degenerate.
Mhm.
I'm sure Heavy Team did that, but
Falcons
like,
spread.
the Falcons, right? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bought him some points too.
Yeah.
Preseason game. Oh, God. All right, man. Well, yeah, I like what I saw on the weekend from a lot of teams, a lot of young rookies, a lot of
Jordan Love looked good. Love looked good too, man. For
Dude,
sure.
I know. My whole thing, like, if anyone watched this show, I'm giving you straight gold here, and it's putting in straight, like, my players, Khalil Herbert for the Bears, like,
Yep.
straight.
Yeah.
love, man.
I've been
I'm not
snagging
gonna-
Herbert.
I'm
late.
not going to give you a paragraph of stats. I'm not. That's not what I do. But I'm going to tell you what I see.
Yeah, for sure.
What
for
I
sure.
see, what the coaches are doing, like even Fields, they put him in situations which I've never seen before.
Mhm.
In a preseason game, they were trying things out, yes, but they put Fields in a place to throw the ball short and win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Mix
dude,
that with his running game,
two touchdowns off of like 2 passes. You know what I mean? DJ takes
He
one
went
for like
3 for
72
3, yeah.
yards. 3 for 3.
he had,
Yeah,
a,
I mean,
he had a
that's
perfect QB rating.
Yeah. Off of a screen and then a rollout left, find Khalil Herbert.
That's all you
and
need.
takes it in,
Find your
yeah.
players.
So,
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people that have DJ Moore too, they were very excited. They're happy.
His ADP is going to skyrocket because
Yeah.
from what I saw, just a short little thing, there's a chance he could end up being a 6 to 7 reception a game guy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
Short, break tackles, do his
Mhm.
thing. I like it. I like what I saw.
I like what the Bears did with it too, because I feel like the Bears, you know, there's been a lot of questions of can Fields, you know, be a passing quarterback and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
obviously it was a screen pass, but I think, you know, throwing it to your best guy, first, second play of the game, whatever it was, and him taking it off. I mean, that's,
You know,
it's a good
that
move.
reminded me of what Fields did at Ohio.
Mhm.
Like, find the place where your quarterback can strive. And if they keep on doing
hold it.
that and they create game schemes, that's going to be tough for a defense to stop when you got DJ
100%.
Moore,
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert, and you
Mhm.
got Foreman, and you got all these, you know, Roshan Johnson and Mooney and
Yeah.
Chase Claypool, who could also stretch a field,
Komet,
and
yeah.
Komet,
Mhm.
and they have Tanya now there too,
Yeah.
who could also catch the
I
ball.
forgot about that.
That's a lot of little route receivers that you
It
got to
is, for sure.
cover.
Mhm.
And
And while
if
you're
you-
covering them, you know, you still have a contained defense on Fields because you're so worried about him going for 150 yards rushing.
Like what I
So,
saw.
yeah, it's dangerous for sure. It's
Telling you,
dangerous.
Heavy T, the Bears are underrated.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I agree.
all right. Well, we got questions to get into. We're running.
Yes,
I
sir.
got a lot to do tonight. We got big breaking news. I still gotta. If you want to stay with me after the break too, real quick, I'm gonna do like a 10-minute quick little UFC 292 predict. I'm gonna preview it all and do my
Yeah.
predictions.
Let's do it. I'm
We've
down.
never done it before.
I love talking UFC. You know,
after the fact.
Mhm.
But on big cards like this, I want to start doing pre-fact to get, you know, my picks out there and stuff. So when
Yeah.
they hit, I can cut the videos and tell
Yeah.
everyone. Told you so.
Heard it here first.
Because I've been really good on my betting
Recently?
picks for UFC
nice
lately.
nice.
Yeah, like really good. So
Real
like
quick,
to
I want
keep
to
it
shout out
going.
the Fantasy Alarm Playbook, man. The Fantasy Alarm Playbook for UFC has been
for DFS,
absolute-
yeah, it's great. Yeah,
absolutely
it's
dominating.
it's fantastic.
I would have cashed big this week if it wasn't for, I mean, everybody putting up 100 and something points.
Yeah, it was a risk.
But 5-1 though, 6-0 the last 2 weeks, I believe,
Mhm.
2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is. I mean, shout out to them real quick.
Yeah, it seemed like the card, like every fight went real quick, and if you
Yeah, oh, hell
you
yeah.
had to be on one side of it.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
did. It's just- I'm not gonna read that comment out loud, but yeah. By the way, go to fantasyalarm.com and get a free 7-day trial this week to actually use that DFS playbook for
Mhm.
MMA
Mhm.
for free this week. Give it a go. See how good it is. And
Ride
win
it while
some
it's hot.
money when you're watching Adesanya and O'Malley.
Mhm.
O'Malley, the second coming of Conor McGregor.
Oh man, it's gonna be an interesting one. Anyway,
Free trial when you sign up. Give it a go. Why not? It's 7 days. It's free. Free.
who doesn't like free?
Yeah. Comments are fun. All right, questions. Sorry.
give me a
Sometimes I
second.
start reading comments and go, what is going on?
Number one, we're in the NBA. This person wants to know my opinion and your opinion on the mid-season tournament.
Oh, really? Have they
Yeah.
not seen this show?
That's what I was thinking earlier.
Jesus Christ. No! You don't need a mid-season tournament.
Scream it. Yep.
You don't need a mid-season. Why?
Mhm.
What does that do for anybody? We're already at a high of load management. Hey, let's add more load management. No, stop it. What does it accomplish? What does it accomplish?
It's nothing, dude.
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Nothing. It doesn't count towards your standings.
Mhm.
It doesn't count towards your playoff spot.
Mhm.
It does absolutely nothing
Mhm.
except nothing.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't even need your stupid all-star game. All you got to do, pick out 8 people, have them slam dunk, pick 8 more, have them shoot a 3, say, we'll see you in the second half of the season, and call it a day. It's that easy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not rocket science.
Mhm.
We don't need a skills competition. I don't want to see Chris Paul trying to pass a ball through a tire.
See if you can
Get rid of
bounce
that
past
too.
the tire.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. Just
Yeah,
slam
for
dunk
sure.
a 3-point call today, man.
Mhm.
Let's be real. We don't need a
agree.
mid-season tournament. Like, God, Jesus Christ. No.
It's the dumbest thing that's ever happened to basketball.
No hoodie for you.
Yeah, seriously, cancel that one out.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree, dude. It's so stupid. I am so mad that they added that. You're gonna see a lot more injuries. You're gonna see a lot more people sitting out.
Let's see a lot more fake injuries.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of load management, and it's ridiculous because load management has ruined the sport of basketball, in my opinion, and it's just gonna ruin it some more. And it's all for to make more dollars, for the NBA to add a mid-season tournament. And so it frustrates me. I hope that my team gets bounced in the first round of the mid-season tournament. I don't even want to deal with that, because I don't need to worry about Anthony Day-to-Day Davis getting hurt. So
they're gonna play all their G League guys. You know that's gonna
That's
happen.
what-
And then
yeah,
no
bring
one's
the
gonna
G League gets
just what you're literally just take the summer league
yeah
and put it in the middle of the season.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude. No, so absolutely stupid. That's my opinion.
Sometimes to make dollars, you got to make sense, and that don't make no sense.
Yeah, exactly. On to number 2, we'll stay in the NBA. I actually like this one. I think this is an interesting question. We don't talk about him very often. Do you think that Tyrese Halliburton will make a All NBA team this season?
No, he should. I mean,
Mhm.
the problem is, and this has been a problem for Indiana for a long time, man. It's ever since Reggie Miller. Like, how many Pacers can you name? Obviously, Paul George.
Yeah,
Danny Granger.
Danny Granger a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Other than that, it gets a little shaky. Yeah,
It's
gets real
just
shaky.
it's just not a big market, and they've been so bad for so long that it's kind of hard for a player like that to. He's talented. Don't get me wrong, and they're making good
100%.
moves over there,
Mhm.
in Pacer land.
Mhm.
But I just don't think he's quite there yet. I think if they make a couple more moves and get that team to more of a relevant state,
Mhm.
and he becomes that superstar that everyone knows, like Danny Granger was when he was on
Mhm.
that team, or he had 3 good years where he was like a superstar, Danny
Mhm.
Granger, and of course Paul George took him to almost an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, a couple more years I see it, but not next year. No.
I think you hit it on the nail. I think the media and the spotlight and the state of the Indiana Pacers. I don't think they're going to make enough of even a play-in, playoff push, whatever it is, to get the spotlight on you. Like I look at someone like Oklahoma City with Shea, and that's a very small market, but Oklahoma City has made moves that has allowed the media to kind of track them a little bit more, making the playoffs, doing stuff like that.
That's the key. That's the number one key is getting to the playoffs.
Exactly. So, and I don't see the Pacers doing that. Halliburton is a baller, though. And if you ask me this question next season or the season after that, I probably will be telling you, yeah, because the upside with Halliburton is through the roof. I mean, he's a triple-double machine, so. But this season, I don't see it, no.
Agreed. Okay.
3. This is a good one. Who will be the better all-time Dallas Maverick when it's said or done, Luka Doncic or Dirk Nowitzki? My answer is very simple, but I want to see what yours is.
Well, Luka's going to have more stats all around,
Mhm.
but it's going to be Dirk because Dirk won a championship.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's one of the
Right?
hardest championships, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Dirk's a legend there already. It's going to be hard for this constant Luka. And by the way, Dirk never was it kind of a punk. And Luka can at some points, complain to the refs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Throwing himself down, flopping.
Very
he's a
mouthy
basketball player.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think when it's all said and done, and I don't see this Mavericks team winning the NBA Finals anytime soon.
Yeah,
Even
me
with,
neither.
I just
Me
don't.
neither.
They're not built for it for the
There
next
will be a
at least,
rebuild,
5 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it has to be Dirk. I think Dirk will end up being like maybe the GOAT of Mavericks.
Yeah,
Right,
I can see it. You have a very, very, big statue to fill, big shoes to fill. It's tough with Dirk. I mean, when you have a player like Kobe Bryant or Dirk or players that never left the organization, they stayed with the organization their whole career, won a championship. Luka would have to stay with Dallas his whole career, win a championship like Dirk, multiple MVPs. I don't see it happening. And
I can see Luka winning an MVP or two or multiple MVPs.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah,
because the way he plays. But like you said, though, the championship, you're not going in the right direction right now. Obviously, he's still young, but Dirk's just such a legend, man. And that 2011 NBA championship, I've never met an NBA fan who hasn't given Dallas their props, man, for winning in 2011.
Yeah, that was a fun series.
So, that was a very fun series. I mean, nobody expected it. LeBron's first, championship with the Heat, and he goes down. So Dirk's a legend. I don't see Luka getting past that, but who knows? Luka's a great player, so you never know.
We align.
Yeah, as usual. Number 4, we'll go to football.
Yay.
This is interesting. If Tua stays healthy, can he be in the MVP race?
Yeah, he would have been in the MVP race last year if he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
He was going to be a top 5 quarterback, fantasy quarterback in the NFL, by the way, Andrew Cooper, and I wouldn't have to wear that Blink-182 nurse outfit that I get to show everybody every week in my intro. Thanks for that. But hey, I was a good-looking Blink-182 nurse.
Yeah, you pulled it off, dude.
Yeah.
You're good.
But yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, he has the talent around him. I liked what I saw from A-Chain. So with Wilson, A-Chain, Mozart, and the receivers he has, and then defense just does a little bit of what they did last year, I think he could be in the MVP category. And those 2 receivers alone can take him to that. We talk about dink and dunking. Tua could just go Tyreek Hill, and let them do everything for him, and his stats are going to be so inflated, that you won't even know that his air yards were like 10.
All you see is they took off for.
But he has 5,000 yards passing and 38
exactly.
touchdowns. It's like So yeah, I think so. It's a hard one because there's so many good quarterbacks in the running this year for that. So it'll be tough. But I want to say out of all the quarterbacks, he could get top 5, maybe even top 3 at max. But I don't know if just Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow and Herbert, I just don't see him being.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah. Lawrence too.
Yep.
Lawrence is one. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Like Tua, you're not big on Lawrence?
More on that later when we do our fantasy football rankings.
For sure. Tua, like you said, you nailed it on the dot, man. I mean, this guy can throw a 5-yard slant at the 10-yard line, and Tyreek Hill or Waddle can take that to the house. So. You saw what he did last year. He had 6 touchdown games. He balled, man. And until the concussions started stacking up, Miami was a very scary team to play. Not a lot of people wanted to, mess with that offense.
The main problem is his health, because any type of hit where his head is just nicked, dinked, nicked, dunked, someone puts their finger on it, anything, there's going to be a whole ordeal about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the media will be all over it.
Last year. When all those, I was very concerned about his career, with especially I think it was the second one. It was bad. His fingers got stuck, and it was, it was nasty, man. So that's the biggest thing for him. 100% is healthy. If they are, Miami's a scary team. Tua's a top 5 quarterback. Tyreek Hill's putting up Tyreek Hill numbers regardless. Waddle's solid. So I think so. Yeah, for sure. Number 5, this one for me is also a very short answer, but we'll see what you have to say. Is Trey Lance over in the 49ers? If he continues to play this way, where do you see him going?
The XFL.
Does China have a league?
Yeah. Canada. There's Canada.
There you go.
There's that US SFL. I don't know how they made a full season. No one watched that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. We saw even the preseason.
Yeah,
I've
he
seen
looked
enough.
terrible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like that should have been intercepted. It was a touchdown. That kind of saved some sort of stat from him. But
Yeah, very lucky. Very lucky. I
his
hope
look,
thanks
he
somebody.
doesn't look fast in decision making at all.
Mhm.
And that's the one thing I said when he was named the starter. And it's like he's not a fast decision maker. He takes
Mhm.
too long to either realize, do I throw the ball, do I run?
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't look fast when he does run.
Mhm.
Like everything about him just seems behind the 8 ball a little bit. And
For sure.
you know, I just thought, obviously he is a high draft pick, so they got to throw him out there. But I think they've seen enough to say he's QB3 now, man.
For sure, Darnold, I think, gets the bump over him.
He looked good, better
Darnold
than.
did- Yeah.
I know he probably played against more second defenses,
Yeah, but
or
I mean, you also
third
play
string,
with
but
worse receivers, so
yeah,
it goes 50-50, I guess.
I'm done with the Trey Lance. I don't want to hear it. If I have to hear he's a sleeper or he still has, he doesn't. He never.
He
did.
doesn't. No, you saw it.
When they drafted him,
years
I
ago.
was like, no.
Mhm. I just don't think
Oh.
he fits that system, in my opinion. I don't think the way he's not confident enough. I don't think he relies on his arm as much as the quarterbacks in that system usually do, especially with a lot of West Coast offense, short passes, stuff like that. I don't think that fits his style of play. But he'll go somewhere if they get rid of him. Someone will take
His
him.
style of play is Division II football in college.
Yeah,
That is
run
his
around,
style of
scramble,
play.
make a play. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah,
Shout
he'll
out
be
to
gone.
him.
But someone will go get him though, because like you said, I mean, he's a top draft pick talent, whatever it is. So somebody will take the potential, hopefully, and snag him. But the Niners, man, you have your quarterback, the guy that took you to the NFC Championship last year. Keep riding the guy because he's a stud, and Darnold is an amazing number 2 quarterback to have, in my opinion. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Lance is on the roster when the season starts.
As number 3.
No, if he's not on the roster.
Oh, not on the roster. Okay.
Like
Yeah,
they just straight cut bait. Like bye.
Mhm.
I would not be surprised. Like just get over it. Like now, the season started. You have 2 competent quarterbacks already. You don't need to hold him as a 3. Get rid of him because you effed up. Get rid of him. Let him go somewhere else. Don't worry about it anymore.
For sure. Yeah.
If I'm Lynch, that's the first thing I'm thinking. I've seen enough to know. Obviously, Sam Darnold can be a backup to Purdy. We can flip flop him if Purdy gets hurt. We're fine.
Yeah, for sure.
But cut him. Get rid of him. Get rid of the drama. Put it behind you.
Yeah, I
and
like.
Tell everybody, here's how we're going forward. We made a mistake. They're gonna have to do the same thing with this stupid kicker that missed both his field goals on Sunday too. That they drafted in the 3rd round. It happens.
For sure.
I feel bad for that kicker, man. That's not
Same.
good.
I know. First preseason game.
Both of them. Oh.
Hopefully it's motivating, and the guy's kicking his ass off right now. Hopefully.
There's a better kicker kicking balls for the 3rd league and Premier League right now. Soccer that's a better that could be picked up off the streets. They get drafted in the 3rd round.
Speaking of missing kicks, Brett Maher comes in and just shanks one, man. Picks up right where he left off.
Yeah, but was that an extra point or was that?
I honestly don't know. I know it wasn't very far. It was from the distance of looked like an extra point field goal, so it might have been an extra point, but I'm not 100% sure. But Broncos, man, they're
that guy almost went on the ultimate streak of all time.
Yeah.
When he missed like almost 5. No,
it was like 5 against
5 extra
Bay,
points
right?
in a row. No, like in a row between 2 games, he missed like 5.
Oh, okay, it's 2 games. Yeah.
And then he finally made one against Tampa Bay after his 3rd attempt.
That's
I'm
what it
like,
was.
yeah,
Okay.
you can do it.
There we go. 1 for 6, baby. Keep shooting. Shooters shoot. Deion Waiters.
I don't understand investing that much in a kicker, man. I just don't.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyways, how we feel about Trey Lance on the show?
Oh, hell no.
An oldie but a goodie.
Who are we giving the hoodie to?
Oh, the hoodie. Definitely not the Trey Lance, and definitely not the midseason tournament. I kind of like the. I'm gonna go with the Halliburton.
Okay, I like that.
I like that because it's
like
like a
that.
player with that's could be a good player that we don't really talk about much. That I can see where they're coming from, and they're doing good things over there in Pacерville.
Yeah, for sure.
If you will. You down to talk for about 10 minutes after the break? UFC predictions.
Always.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break here. When we come back, we're gonna do previews and predictions for I think one of the biggest cards of the year. UFC 292 Adesanya O'Malley. Stay tuned. You're going to want to hear what I have to say about the main card for sure and the main fight after this break. We'll see you soon, my fellow ranters. Boom.
Brees Hall right now, and I've talked to plenty of high-stakes players, I'm sure you have too, Kev, had Hall not torn his ACL last year, he might have been the 101 in drafts this year. That's how good he was looking last year, and obviously with the addition of Aaron Rodgers. At the 305, running back 11 behind Derrick Henry and Ramondre Stevenson, right ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs and Najee Harris. Your thoughts on him as a mid-third round pick? How have you been attacking him? Have you been getting him at that spot so far this year?
Yeah, if I start out with 2 wide receivers, Brees Hall is right at the top of the queue coming into the third. If I knew he'd be healthy for week 1, I was still a little.
Well, he'd be going higher than the mid third.
Right. He may go 101. Well, RB1 at least.
Yeah.
But I don't think we know that. Even if he's healthy in spring and the summer, I still like if I'm running a team, if I'm the coach, I'm bringing him back slow. Like he's on a pitch count. Like I want him for the end of the season because I got Aaron Rodgers for the playoffs, right? Like even if he's fully healthy, I would work him in slow. But that is actually what you want. Like he's still going to get the high value touches. So yeah, if we know he's healthy, he's a first rounder. So like if he's sitting there in the third, especially when I get 2 wide receivers to start, I'll take Hall all day.
Yeah, it almost makes me think that the uncertainty with Brees Hall has made him unfairly fall too far, right? Like because we're talking about the team here in June. They're still hoping that he's ready for week 1. This is not, oh, we'll see what happens. Oh, we're taking it day by day. Oh, we're liking how he's coming along. No, they still think by week 1. And the fact that we have that timeline, I think, maybe bumps him up, especially as the drafting season gets deeper and deeper here in July and August. Maybe we start seeing him go up the boards as well.
Let's get it on.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants, UFC 292 preview, predictions, and more. Oh my! By the way, every time I look over at this show, it's on ESPN. Don't turn it on. Watch this. Watch the on demand. But they're doing a fantasy football show right now, and all I see is Pickett, Jordan Love, and it's driving me insane. I hate it. Stop it. Those are my guys. I do not like it at all. All right. So, we're all about UFC here. We've been suspended from Facebook because of UFC. No, don't like it.
Forgot about that.
So we're not showing any clips, that's for sure. But it's a big card. Sterling and O'Malley. We'll get to that fight later. I'll talk about a few of the smaller ones first. Not smaller ones, just also a title fight as well, which I think is kind of a no-brainer. But, that's where we are. Now, a lot of the odds, it's way too early for me. I'm gonna tell you the odds, who I think, but I'm gonna wait. I always wait until actually almost live, really, like before it starts, to put my last bet in, or my actual bet, to see how they move, to see what's going on. That's really, really important when you bet the UFC, is to get that last minute. And one time I got really lucky. Not lucky. I tried to be lucky and bet all the main card in one parlay. And you just miss one or two, like you miss the very first one. And you go, oh. So what I do now, and I've been really successful with this, is bet on them all individually and just try to get that 60% value back, and knowing who the underdogs are to take. And a few stats here I'm actually going to tell you guys who are watching out there in the universe about the smart way to go about it. Okay. So we'll just do the main card. There's a few, by the way, the odds are out for all the fights already, and there's not very many close ones. Now, it's going to be a good card, and there's going to be a lot of upsets, I think. But the odds right now, there's a lot of heavy favorites. And the reason is that because of who they have fought lately, which turns these early odds. If so-and-so has won their last fight but lost their last 3, and they're going against a younger guy who may have won his last 3, won against a ranked opponent, he's going to have the better odds. And then Vegas likes to see how it does through the week, up until Friday, and that's what Vegas really makes all their money off of people like me who bet last minute. But no, so which fight you want to talk about first? Let's start with the Vera. Now we'll start with Brad Tavares and Chris Weidman. Now everyone knows Weidman, right? He's been around for a long time. He was the UFC middleweight champion at one time. He's been off for about 2 years, 3 years. He hasn't fought for a while, but he's coming back. And he's fighting against Brad Tavares, who seems like he's in every event nowadays. He's always fighting. Minus 265 favorite is Tavares over Weidman. Now Weidman hasn't come back, or what is he? 39 years old, 38, 39 years old. He's been gone for 3 weeks. I think he was 2-6 in his last 8 fights before that. Not sure why he's back, but here we go. Obviously, that's why Tavares is the big favorite. But Tavares is 2-4 in his last 6. And hasn't looked that great as well. But this last April, when he fought last, he did get a knockdown of Bruno Silva, which is why he's so heavy favored. But if you take that fight out of it and you look at it, it's kind of more evenly matched than you would think between these two. I personally would not take a bet on any of these guys to win outright. A bet I really, really like is maybe betting the under of rounds, minus 2.5. I think that makes sense because I think one of these two guys is going to knock each other out or take them down. I would be strong on taking an under. But if I had to bet on a person, I would take Weidman here in an upset. The pedigree, everything. And again, yes, Tavares is coming off a big win, right? But Weidman's been here before, and there's a reason he's coming back. So I would take a little bit of money on Weidman if I had to, but for the most part, I would say this one does not go the distance. I don't think either one of them have the stamina to go all the way. And I can see Weidman actually winning very quickly, but I can also see Tavares winning too, but I just don't see it going the distance. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely like the under 2.5 rounds. I think they're just
That's part of this fight.
Yeah. I don't think these fights.
It's plus value too.
I think that's a great bet then if it's plus value for sure. I would say I'm not on Weidman. I am more on Tavares, but me personally, especially from a DFS standpoint, I would stay away from this fight. I don't think that there's a lot of value that you get from him. From Weidman.
In a DFS standpoint, I wouldn't take any one of these fighters.
Yeah, for sure.
Pure betting fight only. Yeah.
Pure betting though. I mean, I definitely I would stay away from Weidman or Tavares. You're not going to get good odds with him, but the under I think is a great bet.
The unders are good, and here's the thing: when it's this, there's never been a UFC card in the history where every favorite is one. It has never happened. It never will.
For sure.
And I've more and more times see 200, 300 winning, especially lately in a lot of these UFC cards. It happened the last one.
Yeah.
And it's like you just take chances and you pick them out and you hit the right ones. You're already plus money.
Yeah, you're huge. You're huge.
Because you're winning such, and that's, so go against, a lot of people, what they do is they take this minus 220 from Brad Tavares. They'll take him and they'll take Marlon Vera, who we're going to talk about next. And then they'll take Wiley, which is dumb, at minus 390, and they'll parlay it to get like plus 100 value on 3 of them, thinking, hey, they're so heavily favored, they're going to win.
Yeah, they're locks.
You're an idiot because you picked just one of these at plus 200, plus 300. You already outdid that with one fight. UFC is a different game than other sports of betting. So there you go. So this is the closest fight of the night, and that's Munoz versus Vera. Very, very close. Remember that Corey Sandhagen Vera fight? Was it like 6 months ago or so?
The 6 or 7 months ago.
That was a fun one. But here we are again. Vera looks to be the favorite at minus 190, and Munoz, he did no contest with O'Malley. Right? That was O'Malley's, which is funny how O'Malley is now fighting for the belt. And here we are. Yeah. Well, I wonder why. But what do you think here? Now, Munoz has lost to, he lost to Aljamain Sterling as well. I think he lost to Aldo not too long ago.
Did he?
Yeah. I think he's been going back and forth. So, but the dude could fight. Like
100%.
at plus 165, he's going to be one of the favorite underdogs to pick, which is why I don't like it. I like taking another one of those plus 200 guys who I think can hit when I get better value and go against the grain here. I think that's why you see the plus 165 to Munoz against the Vera minus 190. This is another one I really like, the under 2.5 rounds.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think someone's going to finish in this.
And this is also plus value on that as well. So you could parlay Vera minus 190 versus under 2.5 rounds at a knockout or submission and get some really good value there as well.
For sure.
Which is probably what I'll do on this fight. But I got to wait to see what happens. But right now, that's what I would do. But if I had to pick anyone to win, I think Vera wins this fight.
For sure. I do think Vera wins the fight 100%, but I think Munoz isn't a bad bet either. I really do. I think he's
going to be a popular underdog bet for sure, a popular DFS play.
Yeah, and I could see that line changing too at plus 154. Maybe some money coming in late on him. But I just think he needs to finish his opportunities. If he finishes opportunities and, because he gets the opportunities, it's just finishing them. And so if he does, I think he can beat Vera, but I think Vera's priced right, and I think his odds are right. He is the favorite 100%. But I once again also really like the under 2.5 for sure. I think
another one I really like. Yeah,
they're looking for a finish, both of these guys, and they both have the capabilities to do it. So for plus odds at a minus or under 2.5, I think that's a good bet, man, for sure.
All right, we're gonna talk more prodigies and more fan favorites here in the next fight. We talk about Neil Magny, who seems to fight every month. This is his 5th fight since June of last year. That means he's fought 6 times over the last year and a half or whatever. That's so stupid. He is 3-2 in those fights? No, 2-3 or so. He lost to Gilbert Burns. That was a bloodbath. But Magny is always there. He's a knockout artist pretty much. And pretty much seems whoever beats Magny gets the chance to fight for the title. It's weird.
Big fights, yeah.
That we've come that way. This is a huge current live streak right now. Ian Gary, by the way, Ian Gary, if you don't know, is like a mini O'Malley. Just without the rainbow hair. But it's a minus 420 right now as I'm looking at it live. And it opened at minus 290. So it's moved quickly. Magny plus 320. Now 12-0 is Gary. He's 5-0 in all of his UFC fights with 3 finishes. Now, that win over Daniel Rodriguez was very, very impressive. Daniel Rodriguez is a really good fighter in my eyes.
Striking, especially.
It was the first round, 2 minutes in, boom. Now, Magny also beat Rodriguez too, so that makes sense why they're fighting. But that's more of like a wrestling fight. Gary's not going to the ground. He's not. He is gonna punch his lights out and leg him up. He's gonna kick his shins, get his feet up. That's what he's gonna do. I think Magny's gonna kind of go to type of a wrestling approach. I think here, try to get in close, and I don't think he's fast enough. So I think when he tries to get in close, I think a real test for Gary, but I think Gary knocks him out. I think he wins, but I'm not taking a minus 400 value and bet on that.
Yeah, I 100% agree for sure.
Yeah. Another one that I would say probably parlay the under with him winning or winning by knockout. Take the knockout, then watch him submit. Get the knockout win plus that. I think it's a good value there. That's not Magny has kind of been like the gatekeeper, like I said, kind of slower.
For sure. He's slowing down too each fight. Yeah.
Okay, here's the co-main event of the night. Amanda Lemos versus Weili Zhang. Weili, title defense here. Actually, her last 6 fights have been for a title. She's always up there. Now she's lost 1, got it back, and now here we are again. So she's her second defense of her second. Yeah. Okay. She's finished her opponent in 3 of her last 6 before overall, and that's 5 rounds, by the way, every time. And she's also in 50% of her fights overall. She's finished. It's a lot of fights. Lemos, on the other hand, highest paying. Right now she's at plus almost 300, 290. Now it's a hard one for me to say. Weili Zhang obviously is the favorite to win. If I was just picking a winner, I would take the smarter thing and say her. But we've seen some weird things in some of the women fight over the last
100%.
year.
Underdogs are
Remember,
big.
Nunes lost. They had to come back and win
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
We've seen underdogs in
Mhm.
these fights lose. I mean, we already saw it with Wiley, before her
Yep.
last one as well. This is one I'd be willing to just sprinkle a little bit of half of unit. I hate that word, but just a little bit on to try to get the plus value of Lemos and hoping for a knockout.
Yeah.
Now, definitely Zhang has more power, right? But also sneaky jab power for Lemos that could probably hurt her if she gets close. So I would bet wise a little bit of money on Lemos. If for the pick, I would say Wiley knockout parlay.
For sure. Yeah. I think Wiley's the easy answer for sure. I mean, she's the better fighter right now. But I think Lemos, she can catch her sleeping, man. Wiley, from what I've seen, has a tendency to drop her hands and leave her face open. And that's where the jab especially comes in huge. Lemos, she wants to win this fight, man. And she knows what she has to do to win this fight. And that is knock her out, put her on the ground. So if I have no problem sprinkling money in on Lemos. I mean, you get insane value from it. If you're going to bet on a dog like that, I co-main event. I'm actually huge on betting the women underdogs. I really am, man. I think
it's hit a lot.
Exactly. It's insane, value. And so I agree with you. I think Zhang does win the fight, but I think it's not crazy to sprinkle money on Lemos for sure. For sure.
Yeah, right. Now it's time for the main event of the evening.
Here we go.
What everyone's calling the fight of the year. I don't know why. Because Sean O'Malley is Conor McGregor. He's great. He'd be great in WWE. Here he is now. He's good at talking. He's put his money where his mouth is. He does have that no contest, of course, that we talked about. Here's the most interesting thing about this fight. Sean O'Malley right now live is plus 220. Aljamain Sterling is minus 260. So the side is on Aljamain. However, I have a feeling that's going to change really, really quickly to a point where it's minus one in the 100s. Because I think people are going to put money on Sean O'Malley just because he's Sean O'Malley, right?
For sure.
So here's some interesting stats here. O'Malley has knockout power. We know that. However, his last 3 finishes, he beat a debut of UFC in Chris Montinho, who is now no longer with the UFC.
Yeah.
Pava was 4-4 when he knocked him out. And then Thomas Almeida, who was on the tail end of a 4-fight losing streak when he was now released. Right?
Yeah.
That's how O'Malley got here. Until he got his fights with, the no contest and where we are now. So literally his path has been short, but they want the money grab. They want the money grab.
Push.
They didn't have, they needed something because they had to make up a belt for the last UFC fight, like pay-per-view. They had to make up a BMF belt for the last, like literally they needed someone to fight. Let's get money. We're doing it. So here we go. Now, Sterling though, really, yes, he's the champ, right?
Very questionable.
But his wins haven't been that dominant as well either. So then we got to go, okay. So Corey Sandhagen, okay. Munoz, all these guys who were fighting earlier in the card, Rivera, and his recent showing against Cejudo was,
mid.
A split decision.
Very mid. Yeah.
So that's why I think a lot of people are going to kind of go on O'Malley's side thinking, hey, all O'Malley has to do is knock him out and I get plus money. Well, the more and more they start doing that, which they will, it's going to go down into the 100s. And that's when I start thinking, okay, what if I took Aljamain Sterling then at, from like a minus, 150 to a under 4.5 rounds parlay and hit that.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Although the under for 4.5 rounds is minus 180 right now, obviously, because Sean O'Malley.
It's ending. Yeah.
By the way, Sean O'Malley has not fought 5 rounds of UFC before either.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny because I actually forgot about that, and I think a lot of people are forgetting about that. Obviously you could train for it, but not fighting a 5-round fight versus somebody who has, that's a very big thing. So
let me see what the open was here and where we're at, because it's already moved so much. So, okay, yeah, it opened at 265 favorite this morning. Okay. And as of now, it's already moved from minus 265 to minus 255.
Okay. It's going to keep dropping for sure. Late money will come in on Sean 100%. Especially by Friday.
110%. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be an interesting fight, man. I have Sterling, me personally, just because of what he can do on the ground if it gets there, and that'll.
Oh, he could out-grapple him. He could wear O'Malley down quickly.
Very simply, and that'll be his strategy. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to box with him. He'll kickbox 100%. He'll kickbox for a little bit, but he doesn't want to strike with him. That's how Sugar Sean gets you, man. If he lands a right or straight right or whatever it is, I mean, he'll knock you out, but. If you take him to the ground, it'll be over. And I me personally, I'm big on Sugar Sean. I like the personality. I like who he is, but the path to this fight is very questionable, more questionable than Sterling. So for me, man, I'm going to take the favorite. And especially what you said, if Sterling can continue, if money continues to come in on Sugar Sean and those odds, keep getting in my favor, and it comes down to a -150 or whatever, I'd love to get that in there at -150 odds coming from -260 for sure. So that's definitely mine, is a sprinkle on Sterling.
In the last 26 main card pay-per-view events, the last 26 main card pay-per-view events in UFC, underdogs on the main card are 12-14.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's been a crazy couple of years.
Yes, yeah, 100%. A lot of upset, for sure. For sure. And you could see one this week, man, 100%. I mean, if Sterling fails at taking takedowns somehow, because I know that's what, Sugar Sean is training on, you got to stop him from going to the ground. And if Sugar Sean gets a, quick punch, man, and hits him and tags him, he's got some power and he's got speed to him, dude. And he could sleep because, like you said, Sterling's very questionable too. The fights, they have not been dominant performances. I think Sandhagen was probably his best one that we've seen. But other than that, it's very questionable.
There's also a reason why Sean O'Malley went up so quickly, because it's a weak division.
Yeah, for sure. Very weak division, 100%. So it'll be interesting, man. But it will be a good fight, though. I will say that. And it'll be a good fight, and it'll be a very interesting weekend of UFC, which I always love. So I
cannot wait. And is this PFL on Friday nights finally over? Is that still?
I have no clue. I'm not even paying attention.
Okay.
I have no clue, man.
Right.
I hope.
All right, Fury versus Ngannou. Who wins?
Oh, man. Ngannou. I mean, Jesus Christ. One punch.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you for staying on for some UFC. That was a lot of fun. I hope we taught people a few things or two. You don't always just have to. There's other ways to go around winning money, even with favorites and stats and everything you need to know. And it's always smart to kind of wait and see how the tide turns. Sharps are very smart about this too. Follow the sharp money in UFC for sure. And don't try to parlay too much. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe a knockdown with a win, but don't, or like an under 2.5. Don't get crazy, or else you'll.
Yeah, for sure.
There's too many ways for anyone to lose in UFC. One little hit to the chin, one broken leg, you're done.
Anything can happen for sure. That's what I love about it.
All right, at Better Thomas Stevens, get your questions. We'll see Thomas next week for the 1 year spectacular where he's going to roast me, so don't miss that. And also, he's in the Guillotine League already as well. Make sure you get in as well. That's going to be in 2 weeks from now. Thomas, you have a wonderful night. We will talk to you next week on the 1 year anniversary. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. See you later.
All right. All right. We got to switch gears. I got to gather my thoughts, because when we come back for the last half hour, me and Heavy T are going head to head on stats. Not really. Fantasy rankings. We're going to talk about our top 10s and quarterbacks. Running backs, receivers. We'll see if we have enough room for tight ends. If not, tight ends are tight ends. It's fine. I know Andrew Cooper would really hate that, though. When you come back for the break, stay with me. My fantasy football rankings, top 10 in all the positions, along with Heavy T. So we go back and forth. You're not going to want to miss out on a parlay he's going to make when he's in Vegas next week, too. You got to check it out. After the break, Monday Night Rant rankings on Better Sports Network. Boom.
Like this is a quietly contentious point on what it means to actually be rebuilding. Some people say you should never truly be rebuilding. How do you view the rebuilding versus competing dichotomy in Dynasty?
So I will be the first person to acknowledge that my preferred format of fantasy football is just redraft. The years that I have played Dynasty, it has been I've drafted a win now team because I've seen people that have just gotten into the cycle of rebuilding and thus they just don't make any progress. So if you're rebuilding for the 5th year in a row, I just, I don't know exactly how you get out of it, but yeah, it's definitely something that can happen. And a lot of people, especially when we come out of the NFL draft, everyone's just instantly shipping off, draft picks and everything. So, I mean, it's definitely something that can happen.
Joey, do you feel similarly to it? Do you feel like you see people getting stuck in the rebuilding loop?
I mean, I would say people that try to rebuild in the beginning of seasons, of their fantasy seasons, I see them get stuck in that rut. I would really try to only ever rebuild if I knew I was going to miss the playoffs. Like, I'm always trying to play to win, even if it's maybe I don't know.
I think my big thing is the word rebuild is a much shorter time frame than I think most people say it should be. Like, they look at rebuild as like 3 years out competing. Rebuild, you're looking to compete next season. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing it now, you're looking to revamp, and maybe there's a 1 season where you ship it off, but that very next season you should be competing. If you're doing it like that, I'm cool with it, but you gotta have a plan, not just keep getting the young players, keep getting the draft picks. Otherwise, you end up like Tim. Maybe not like Tim who gets a bye, but you make the playoffs, you're in that like 4 to 6 range every year, just hovering in the middle. Nothing ever gets better, nothing ever gets worse.
I think I play like you in Dynasty, Simon. I play in 3-year windows.
100%. That's my go-to. And with the rate at which Dynasty leagues turn over, you should really only ever play in a 3-year window.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. Joining me now is my producer and hot dog eater champion of all time per inning at a baseball game, Tyler Heavy T Soto. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know that, I did the 9 hot dogs in 9 innings challenge while I was in Houston. Shout out to the Astros and Dollar Dog Night, so I didn't have to break the bank.
Wait, so it's $9 for how many?
$9 for 9 hot dogs, yeah. So without tax, but yeah, it wasn't more than $15, which is, hey, I'll do it.
Well, you should do like a documentary on that.
You know what? I might, because someone told me, is like, oh, you should probably do have you tried the 9 hot dogs and 9 beers?
Oh,
and I'm like, oh, that one's gonna be tough. I'll try it, but that one's gonna be rough.
Yeah, can you dip them in the beer and like they do in like the hot dog eating contest?
I think I'll pass on doing that. That's a little much.
Okay. Well, be a lot of fun. So next week, the 1-year anniversary show. You looking forward to it?
Not really, because I do not want to watch 80 for Brady. So, not even joking. So actually, right before this show, real quick, I was telling my mom how next year is the 1-year anniversary. You know, she's all excited and everything. She's like, oh, it's really cool. So I told her, I said, this is what I'm doing. And I said, I have to watch 80 for Brady. And she's like, oh, that's that movie on that's all I know. It's about like those 4 women and Tom Brady, right? I was like, yeah. So you have no idea what it's about. Yeah. And she said, no. And I said, okay, well, they follow Tom Brady to the Super Bowl. She's like, okay. And I looked at her straight in the face, stone cold, and said, what Super Bowl do you think it was? And then she's like, was that the one? And then immediately starts laughing. And I was like, well, this is my hell. All right. This is the world I live in.
She got it, didn't she?
Yeah, it took a minute, but she got there.
All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have to plan everything out this week and talk about it and how we're going to get all the guests on. And we'll try to do like 5 to 6 minutes per guest and have them roast me and talk their favorite. Maybe we'll do like their favorite fantasy football sleeper or something of the year, and then roast me.
Or because it is a roast and roasts are hot, everyone gives one hot take for the year.
Ooh, one bold prediction, hot take.
Yeah, one bold prediction, hot take for the NFL season.
I like the way you think.
Thank you. This is why I'm your producer.
That could be why, yes. All right. Now I'm not going to like the way you think because we're going to get into rankings and we're low on time. So let's, how do you want to do this? So I have my 10. I don't know what your 10 are. How about I just tell you my 10 and then you tell me why that shouldn't be. And then I'll argue.
Okay. I like that. Let's do it.
All right. We'll do quarterback first. Here's how I have, by the way, this is fantasy football PPR rankings. No standard, no extra weird stats you don't have, just normal PPR rankings for fantasy football, how I see it playing out this year. Okay. We can even grade this and see if they're the top at the end of the year. We'll see. All right. Quarterback 1, Mahomes. We're aligned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, Josh Allen.
Okay.
3, Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
4, Justin Herbert. 5,
Okay.
Joe Burrow. 6, Lamar Jackson. 7, Justin Fields. 8, Tua. 9, Lawrence. 10, Prescott. And now wait, by the way, I'm taking a couple things out of this. Injuries, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All these players play the full year.
When you're drafting, you can't go into it thinking there's going to be injuries.
These players play the full year. And when we get to the running backs, I didn't include running backs that are sitting out or just being dumb.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the quarterback list, I like all of that. I will say we only have one that is in mind that isn't in yours. And then for the rest of it, it's mostly the order's different, but we agree on at least 9 of the 10.
Okay.
So the top 3 is the same: Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. So this is where it switches a little bit. I got Lamar Jackson at 4. I got Burrow at 5, which we agree with. I have Herbert at 6.
So we flopped Herbert and Lamar.
Herbert and Jackson. I have Trevor at 7.
Why?
I think he's gonna go off. He has a very good underrated receiving core.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley. You got Zay Jones. You still have Christian Kirk. You have Evan Ingram, who we'll get to later.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna go off.
Yeah, I that's the thing that I don't like when I'm doing these rankings is he's going to go off. Okay. But some of these other players have already had seasons where they went off.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's still the reason why I put him at 9, right? I've seen what Tua can do with his weapons when he's healthy. I've seen what Fields can do with his legs, which is for fantasy points. Great. He was like top 5 overall in rushing last year as a quarterback, right? Lamar, I've seen what he could do, and now he has more weapons than he's ever had, right? Just Lawrence, he has the weapons, but even last year he was really iffy for the first 3 quarters of the season, then kind of put it together a little bit towards the end.
Exactly, dude. Continue the hot streak. Let's go.
But what hot streak? We had a full off season.
And
I don't know. He's still in my top 10. That's the only reason why I don't have him as high. Because really, after you drop, well, you said you have another quarterback that's not on my list. But once you drop past these 10, it's a real steep. Well, there's Aaron Rodgers, but I can't top 10 fantasy. I just don't. No legs. Even if he throws for 5,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, is that enough to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback nowadays in the NFL? No.
Who knows? But yeah, so Lawrence at 7. I have Tua at 8.
That's where I have him.
I have Fields at 9. The reason why I have Fields low is you're right. You're 100% right on the legs thing. But my thinking is that if his arm doesn't come around, they're going to pull him. Like, he can't just do his legs forever.
There's no one behind him this year.
Well, I mean, the Bears are kind of in a mid-rebuild, so we'll see what happens.
He's going to play the whole year buried injury, man, I'm telling you.
10 is the one we disagree on. I have Prescott just on the outside looking in. Like, I'd probably put him 11 or 12. I have Deshaun Watson at 10.
I just can't, dude. I just can't.
And trust me, and you know, we're putting all that stuff aside because I don't like the dude. So we'll put all that stuff aside. But fantasy-wise.
Even me too. Like, I just, what he did last year, he's coming back. He just didn't look good, even though he didn't, because Amari Cooper was, with all quarterbacks on the team, was a top 10 receiver by the end of the year, which is really surprising in PPR. But I don't know. I want to see it first. And I feel more confident in Prescott because I think he has one of the best receivers that's most underrated in fantasy on his team.
You know what? Let's just kick it off and go to the receivers because he is also in my top 10. I'm assuming we're talking about the same person.
CeeDee Lamb? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's in everyone's top 10.
Okay.
I may have him higher than a lot of people.
I'll tell you what. We'll flip this. I'll go first real quick, and then we'll have you go after. So I'm pretty sure our top 3 is probably the same. I haven't looked at your list, but I'd imagine it's the same. Is Jefferson, Chase, and Hill?
No.
They're the same. Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll come back to that. So I have Jefferson, Chase, Hill, 1, 2, 3. I have Diggs 4.
I have Diggs 4.
I have AJ Brown 5.
I have AJ Brown 3.
It's fair. That's fair. CeeDee Lamb is 6.
5 for me.
5. Interesting.
Hill 6. So we have the same top 6, just flipped in order.
Okay. Garrett Wilson 7.
I have him 10.
I have Devontae Adams 8.
I have Devontae Adams 7.
Hey,
are we gonna have the same 10 just in different order? That's fun.
Possible. This guy, I almost didn't put him in the top 10, but I feel like he proved just enough last year that he probably needs to be in it. But St. Brown at 9.
Yep, I have 8.
And I put Waddle at 10.
Sorry, I have St. Brown at 9. That's the one. I have Cooper Kupp in my top 10.
You know what? It's the age is getting up there. And last year, like I said, I'm totally going to contradict myself.
Nobody else on that team. No other receiver on that team.
I mean, yeah, but it's the injury thing. Like, I'm contradicting what I said, but yeah.
Yeah. So I take the injury thing aside, like I said, and even points per game playing last year, Cooper Kupp was top 3 in PPR points per game as a receiver.
Can't do it. Just can't do it.
You got to put him in the top 10. Now, I'm kind of staying away from him in drafts in that same era, like that same area where he's going ADP wise. I'd rather have St. Brown or even Garrett Wilson in that area, in that over him. But I think by the end of the year, it'd be hard for me not to say he's not going to be a top 10 PPR receiver by the end of the year if he plays every game.
I mean, we'll see. But like I said, does he play every game? That's the question mark.
Right, so we're pretty close on those too. Wow, the only difference we had was Kupp versus Waddle. I just had a hard time putting 2 players from the same team in the top 10, and then and you put 2 players from the same team in the top 10, and then ranked 2 low.
I mean, yes, look, man, we're just going off gut feeling here, but I mean, they are the number 1-2 duo in the league, in my opinion, with Smith and Brown being very close behind.
Yeah.
Like if I'm putting Smith on this list, he's probably again like 11 or 12.
Yeah. See, looking at this real quick, right? And by the way, I don't think Chase is as far from Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Jeez. As people think, I think they're really close. You could almost flip-flop them. And you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I could see the argument. I think my only thing against that is that Jefferson is kind of the only receiver they have. Like Osborne's okay. Addison will get touches, but Cincinnati throws the ball to everybody. Now Chase is obviously the main dude, but you have Higgins, you have the tight end. Like, I mean, they throw it to everybody.
Who's the tight end for Cincinnati?
I don't know. I just blurted that because I forgot the other wide receiver's name that I'm forgetting. It's T. Higgins, and who's the other one? I'm drawing a massive blank right now.
So am I.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, he's on my dynasty league too. I may have to look it up.
I know oh god, this is embarrassing. Literally cannot remember his name.
Because he wasn't in my top 10, so he was really good he was on the team for a while until both those Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd, thank you. I'm like, why can I not remember this dude's name? Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get touches too, so it's kind of interesting.
And Irv Smith Jr. is our start. Come on,
it's not terrible. I mean, he's not in my top 10. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
he's not terrible.
There's now you're saying Minnesota, right? Okay. Now you said Osborne, who is Tyler Boyd, and then Addison. We don't know, but you're forgetting about a pass catching tight end on that team.
We will come back to that.
Okay.
Because we have to get the tight ends in.
We will. We got plenty of time here. Okay. Yeah. So I'm high on Brown at number 3 only because he's the most capable one of getting 2 touchdowns at any given day that he showed last year. He'll get the one long one, but kind of inconsistent. Now Brown, when healthy, he's been one of the most consistent receivers in the league for 2 years now. That's why I kind of pushed him up. Adams, we don't know because the quarterback issue. Cup, again, same thing with the injury, but still with Matthew Stafford, he was one of the best. He had like literally the best wide receiver fantasy year ever. So there's that. And then Wilson has the Aaron Rodgers effect. So that's why I kind of went with that. And then Amon's, he's going to get his targets. He's going to be one of those guys who will eight receptions for 80 yards at every week, which is what you need in PPR. So
it's not like Jameson Williams is going to be there for 6 weeks to take his job. So
hey, if he listened to our UFC betting predictions earlier, then he's definitely not going to be there because he's going to take those because they were good picks, man.
Proceed with caution, Jameson. Proceed with caution.
I love it. Okay. You want to go into running backs?
Yeah, let's hit up the running backs.
Okay. You want me to go first or you?
You go ahead.
All right. This one I think is dumb. And I know there's off-field issues with contracts and all this stuff, but literally Austin Eckler has been the best running back in PPR format in fantasy for 2 straight years. He's scored the most touchdowns every year for 2 straight years. He's had the most points every year for 2 straight years. Why would that be any different? Oh, by the way, he's the only fantasy player, receiver or running back, not a quarterback, to have fantasy points over 10 every game he's played over the last 2 years as well. His floor is 10. Nobody else has that floor. He's the number 1 running back in my eyes.
Okay. Well, I'll explain in a second, but okay.
Of course, they have Christian McCaffrey second. Still a little bit of quarterback issues there. Even though we talked about it earlier, it really isn't. It's going to be Purdy and the Darnold show. I can't wait till Trey Lance gets cut, and I called it. I can't wait to take that clip I said earlier and put it out there.
You know what? I think you're right where you said he won't be on the roster. I don't think he gets cut. I think they will trade him. There is someone out there who will give up at minimum a 3rd round pick for him.
But no way, really?
Yes, definitely.
Jesus. Well, anyways, he's not going to be on the team when the season starts. Okay.
Yeah.
I have Saquon 3, Nick Chubb 4. I have Tony Pollard 5, Bijan 6. Now, the reason why Bijan is low on mine is because, like I said earlier, I like this. I want to see it to believe it. Yeah, and I've been burned by rookie running backs I drafted in the first round so many times that, hey, someone says hi, Tyler.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hi, Tyler. Man, you got fans on this? What's going on here?
I do, yes.
So next year he could end up being number 1, but I'm not going to put him in my top 3. I'm not drafting him as a top 3 with not seeing what he's going to do on the field.
You see this?
I got burned by
here. You see this helmet here? He will not let us down. Okay. He will not let us down.
Yeah, you probably said the same thing about Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl. But that
was a Kyle Shanahan thing. We don't talk about that. Moving on.
But I've been burned by Ryan Matthews. Melvin Gordon wasn't so great in his first season. It's just I've been burnt too many times. Now Saquon's an anomaly. We have some other anomalies in there. Even Christian McCaffrey's an anomaly, right? But I've seen him do it in the NFL over and over again. So that's why he's low in mine. Then I have kind of Henry by default at number 7. Don't like it, but that's kind of where we're at. And remember, no Jonathan Taylor, no Josh Jacobs on this list because we don't know what the hell is going to happen with them because they're being babies. Okay. Or else they probably would both be in this list otherwise. Najee Harris at 8. I love his receiving. I think he's going to be a focal point of that offense. And by the way, he was top 8 last year in PPR points from a running back spot as well. And he missed a few games. Who did I miss? Did I miss somebody? They say Aaron Jones.
You did not. No, you're at 9 and 10.
They say Aaron Jones, same as Najee, top 8 in PPR running back, and also missed a few games last year. Aaron Jones kind of underrated to me. He just consistently puts out PPR numbers. I think he's going to be another focal point of the offense because who knows with Love. I get a lot of check downs. I like what he's kind of doing there. I think Love's going to be a big thing. Like him at 9, and then Ramondre Stevenson kind of rounds it out at my 10 spot there.
Even without the Zeke news, I don't trust any New England running back whatsoever.
They have no other running backs.
I know. See, that's what everybody
said.
Pure volume.
Everybody
said, oh, they don't have any running backs. And then Jonas Gray comes out of nowhere. like one of the greatest single fantasy performances of all time. I do not trust a New England running back whatsoever. Ever since Jonas Gray, never touched a New England running back.
Now I haven't had. Well, I did have Ramondre higher until that happened. I will admit.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So I will say this: as far as our lists go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all the same in that order. So Saquon, Chubb, Pollard, Bijan, Henry, Najee.
You put Bijan at 6 even as a Falcons fan?
Yeah, I actually did because
Dude,
those
his ADP is so high. It's like third overall.
I know, trust me, but the dudes ahead of him are just that much better.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Dude,
So,
Pollard is kind of a little bit undervalued. I think he could end up being the number 1 overall running back in fantasy this year.
I mean, he could. I think my brother actually just had a super early draft, and he did take. I think he took Pollard like with his first pick, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my list is a little bit different. First off, there's 2 people on mine that are not on yours. So
okay.
That. And then second, I have Eckler 2, CMC 1, and Eckler 2. Now, honestly, if you really want to, you could do a coin flip. You really could. But Eckler 2, you're right. He does have like the 10.4.
Fan club in the chat.
I did notice. Hey, guys. So he does have the floor, but he's not going to hit it again 3 years in a row. There's no way. There's something's got to happen. We might have to take a bet on that. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. So I'll put him at 2. But like I said, you could put him at 1, and I don't have a problem with it. It's totally fine. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the same. Then you get to 9, where I have Joe Mixon.
Nah, I can't do it.
I know you can't do it.
Per average, per rushing average, he was one of the worst running backs in the NFL last year.
I know you can't do it, but I'm not a huge fan of A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones or whatever his name is. Whoever's running the ball over there in Green Bay.
Aaron Jones, PPR, baby. Come on.
And then but there's no Rodgers there anymore. I don't believe in Jordan Love.
I do. I know.
See, that's the thing. I don't believe in Jordan Love. And then Kenneth Walker.
All you need is no. I can't do it. Not after watching Zach Charbonnet. I can't.
I'll still believe it for now. I'll put Kenneth Walker at 10.
I would love to. Trust me, I would love to because I have him in one of my dynasty leagues. But I just seen the way Charbonnet ran the ball in preseason, why they drafted him, and just the whole, where did Chris Carson come from, and the whole Pete Carroll thing. I just can't. Man, I just can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah, and you know what? Real quick, for the record, if he doesn't get hurt last year, I'm probably putting Breece Hall number 1. Gonna be totally honest about that. If he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
like he was on a tear before he got hurt.
Yeah,
like he was. No pun intended. Sorry, Breece, but he was on an absolute tear before he tore that ACL.
Okay,
he was running wild.
I have a question for you now. This is
right.
a very interesting question. So now that Breece Hall only played so many games last year, so we kind of go off this. Who has the better career going forward, Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson? Good question.
That's a really good question. I think for now, I'll say Bijan. Bias aside, it's just because I need to see what Hall looks like after the ACL. So bias aside, and don't get me wrong, if he doesn't get hurt, I might actually say fantasy-wise, Breece Hall, because while Bijan's good, Bijan's going to be used as a ground and pound. Hall can catch, as we saw last year. So, but for now, I'll say Bijan. For now.
Okay. Well, let's move on to tight ends because we're running low on time here. We'll be quick with them. Obviously, after the top 5 or whatever, there's a low drop. But you want to go first with your tight ends, and I'll tell you why I hate them.
Sure, let's do that. So I'd assume our top 3 is probably the same. Kelsey, Andrews, Kittle.
No.
Well, we'll come back to that.
I'll tell you. I over the second half of the season, from week 12 all the way to 17, TJ Hawkinson had more fantasy points than Kelsey. He got settled in. He got settled into Minnesota after he got traded. He was more fantasy points week over week than Kelsey. He was the number 1 tight end towards the end of the season. You want to talk about going back over and only having Justin Jefferson and him and then Addison, who's like Thielen? Why couldn't I'm telling you, I have Hawkinson number 2, Kelsey, and then Hawkinson.
He's in my top 10, but he's number 5. I'll just give you a spoiler on that right now.
He's gonna end. He could end up being the number 1 overall scoring tight end in that offense. Yeah.
All right, well, like I said, we'll come back to that. So I got Kelsey 1, Andrews 2, Kittle 3.
I have Kittle 3.
I'm very high on Darren Waller. I have him 4.
I'm not one of those guys. I have him 8.
I'm super super high on Waller. So he's 4, Hawkinson 5. Said I'd come back to this. Ingram 6.
I have Ingram 5.
Okay, so I have him in about the right spot. I have Kyle Pitts 7, Pat Freiermuth 8.
I don't have Freiermuth on my list.
This guy I also think is not getting enough love. I have Dalton Schultz 9.
I don't have him on my list either.
And then Dallas Goedert 10. Now there
I
is
have
one
Goddard
name.
6.
Oh, that's a little too high for me. There is one guy I'm pretty sure you have on your list that I don't have on mine. I don't believe in Njoku whatsoever. I just don't.
I do. I have him at 7.
Nope, can't
he's
do
had
it.
He's had a full off season now with your boy Deshaun Watson over there. I just have a feeling like, and when he's healthy, by the way, he has put up numbers. He does have a health issue. Remember, I'm going into this saying that Njoku is going to play 17 games this season. If he plays 17 games per average fantasy points, he's been a top 5 tight end. And with Watson, there's no reason for me to put him in the top 10. I have him at 7 ahead of Waller because Waller is a whole new situation. He's leaving he's leaving Carr and an injury to go to the Giants and Daniel Jones. Okay? Daniel Jones. I just don't. Njoku's in a better situation to put up more points this year than Waller is. And everyone likes Waller because there's no other tight ends. We're sitting here talking about who'd you name Dalton Schultz on his.
Okay, yes, but I'm sure you've heard the reports about Waller having to be literally taken off the practice field because Daniel Jones was throwing to nobody else. Jones loves Waller. He's going to get a ton of targets. Real quick, for the record, please, everybody acknowledge that Deshaun Watson is not my boy. I want nothing to do with him. And I just don't want none of that. Let's make sure that gets on record.
Sorry.
Jeez.
You know what I put him in your top 10.
Oh, man.
Did you have Kyle Pitts in your top 10?
Yeah, I think I have him.
I have him 9. I have him 9.
I have him 7. I have him 7.
Okay, and then my 10th, who I think it never happens. It's going to happen this year only because this dude is a wide receiver. The next Travis Kelce. I think he ends up being the wide receiver 2 in Buffalo. Dalton Kincaid, I have at number 10. Rookie.
Interesting. Okay.
They've even been using him. News out of camp. You can't take him off the practice field because they're using him in wide receiver sets. That's with you. But they're using him as a wide receiver, not a tight end.
All right. So we actually got to end this real quick. But before we go, just give me a whether you like it or not. So I'm going to Vegas this weekend, putting down an 8-leg parlay that is all division winners. Here's what I have. Bengals, Jaguars, Lions, Falcons, 49ers, Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys. The Jets one is where it screws you, huh?
No, Cowboys. You don't think
really
Philadelphia is going to win that division?
You know what? I was originally going with Philly, and I was talking to one of my other coworkers yesterday, and he steered me in the other direction. He's like, nobody's won that division back-to-back in I can't remember how many years he said, and I thought about it, and it kind of scared me off. And here's the other thing, too. Philly lost both their coordinators, offensive and defensive. That's going to play a part.
I don't like it, but I do kind of like the Jets pick as kind of like the sneaky one. But then again, you're betting, so yeah, I like it. I can see it happen.
$20 on an 8-leg parlay. If it hits, $14,000 coming my way.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's air it. Let's go, heavy T. Let's go.
All right, man. All right, we're out of time. No music. Get us out of here, bro.
I will do just that. Ladies and gentlemen, from myself, Thomas Stevens, Heavy T, and his fan club in the chat. Thank you for joining my Night Rants tonight. This beautiful, beautiful evening where we did everything you could possibly imagine. NFL, UFC, we talked baseball, kind of. NBA with Thomas Stevens, everything. Next week, it's been a year, people. It's been a year. the 1-year anniversary of Monday Night Rants. Me, Heavy T, Thomas will be here. Special guests. We're going to have a lot of fun. Heavy T is reviewing 80 for Brady and more. Don't miss out on next week. It's going to be crazy. And also join the Guillotine League. Thank you, everybody, for everything, watching and enjoying every Monday night with me. Football season is here. We'll see you next week. 1 year, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Boom.